Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I did say that I wanted to do a little bit more with skincare. So today I'm going to be doing an all about under eyes, how to keep your under eyes smooth, the skincare that goes into really keeping them nice and plump and hydrated and not looking dry and cracky, plus concealer application and how to look great whether you're going for a full beat glam or something a little bit more natural. So if you're interested in seeing how to keep your under eyes looking flawless, make sure to keep on watching and please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload 3 times a week and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So today is not a full glam day for me, so I'm not going super over the top. I did do all of my skincare that does not involve the under eyes, and I did prime my skin everywhere but the under eyes. So I'm going to start with skincare. So the biggest thing for me is that a lot of people first off neglect eye creams, and more importantly, they're not using eye serums, which are different. So an eye serum is going to treat the under eye, whereas an eye cream is going to nourish and hydrate. I know the first question that typically gets asked is a face cream or a face moisturizer or a face serum good for the eye area? And the short answer is no. The under eye skin is very thin, so the amount of potent ingredients on there needs to be a little bit softer, and the formula needs to be a little bit more lightweight. Because this skin is so soft, if you try and put something too heavy or too powerful on top, you can either strip the under eye or the skin's defenses won't let anything in because it feels overwhelmed. So you want to make sure you're using things that are designed for the eye area. So the one thing I will say, and this is going to be like my power cocktail. During the day, I like to start with my Drunk Elephant Sheba Complex Eye Serum. This is going to be a nourishing and hydrating serum. This is also going to help with moisturizing and hydrating the under eyes while also plumping, firming, and helping just with keeping it looking smooth. Now, this eye serum is designed to help with all of the major signs of anti-aging, hydrating, nourishment, and really just keeping everything looking great. I do use this every single morning and every other night. Now, when I'm not using this, I go in with the MURAD Retinol Youth Renewal Eye Serum. Now, this is a retinol base, so you don't want to be using it every single day, but it is a retinol formula that's gentle enough to use every other night. Now, I would not recommend jumping into a retinol and using it every other night. Use it once, give yourself a few days, use it again, build up your tolerance, because if you do overuse a retinol, it will start to strip the skin. Now, the reason I like this is retinol is one of the only ingredients that you actually see anti-aging signs with. Other ingredients help, but nothing is quite as potent as a retinol. So I like to use it on the under eye, and this one is gentle enough for the eye area, just to help keeping fine lines, wrinkles, crow's feet, everything at bay and keeping them from coming. I am only in my late 20s, so I'm not looking quite as bad as I probably should because I have been really doing skincare, but this is gonna be really important for me for the next decade or so. And now with both of those, I like to take my Renewing Eye Cream from MURAD as well. I like the green line because it is great for anti-aging. Now this is meant to be used AM and PM, and this is a firming and plumping eye cream. What I love most about this is, and with all eye creams and serums, I take a little bit on my fingers, I gently pat it, and without like dragging or pulling, I just like to gently apply that to the under eye area, and then gently swoop without moving the skin at all. We don't want to tug because that will make more lines than we already have. But what I love most about this eye cream is that it layers so well with makeup. A lot of eye creams, it's not that they won't layer well with makeup, but they're not designed to enhance your concealer wear. This one I find gives it a little bit of a tacky base, so it also becomes like a 2-in-1 primer for my concealer. Now we are already looking a little bit better, but this is where concealer comes in. Now today is not going to be a full beat day for me. You guys have seen me put on concealer a million times, but this is going to be more of my lightweight routine. First, I am going to link up here a video I did where I do like my current everyday foundation routine. It's very lightweight, it's very breathable, it's very natural, and it's something that you can really get away with on a daily basis. And I'm going to be emulating that a little bit more today. So like I said, the skin is already primed and my eye cream is still a little tacky. I'm going to take my Fast Base Concealer from Makeup Revolution. I recently discovered this in a full face of first impressions video. Actually, you know what? I'm only going to do one eye at a time. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of this and I'm just going to apply it where I need it. Just a little bit here. And I do actually like to take this, rather than going in with a really full coverage foundation, I'll just go in with this and I'll kind of use it just to spot conceal any of my redness. but I am going to link my first impressions video where I did mention this concealer. Now, the first thing I like to make sure I do when I'm blending out concealer on the under eye is because we do want a little bit of coverage. So the longer the concealer sits on your skin, the more it dries out a little bit, which means the more pigment it's going to be deposited where you put it. So I do like to make sure that the last thing I blend out is the under eye. So once everything else is blended in, yes, this is the only eye with concealer. This one doesn't have anything on yet. I'm just going to take a damp sponge. Let me get my mirror a little bit closer. And I start in this area, and I will blend out the lower region of the cheek and work my way gradually up to the under eye. Now with the right concealer, you'll see that it is brightening, it is smoothing, and it's not enhancing any lines. Obviously, if you do have lines, like I have one right here, there is nothing that's really, other than like filler, going to make that go away 100%. The magic of the makeup is to make it as invisible as possible. So once I have that blended out, grabbing a little fluffy brush, I'm going to take a tiny bit of a translucent powder. The one I'm using today is my Coty Airspun. Before I set it, I do like to make sure one last time that I do pat it out so that we have no creases. And then I'm going to lightly tap the powder into the concealer. Now the reason I do a tapping motion is if you swipe, you're going to move around that concealer because it hasn't set down yet. By patting, you're making sure that it stays in place and it locks where you put it. And then once it's down, you can kind of finesse it a little bit more. And you see how this side, it doesn't look like I have a lot of makeup on, but it definitely looks a little more canceled out. It looks more awake. It looks more brightened. Just all around looks better. Now, the reason that we blended it out before we set it and made sure to do it a few times, if you set a crease, the crease will last forever. The key to making sure your concealer looks great is make sure that it looks as good as humanly possible before you set it down. And you see how this side, like obviously I don't have any foundation on yet and I haven't really like played around with my features yet. But if you look just at the eye area, and I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, the under eye, like yes, this line is never going to go away because obviously like it's a line in my skin. But as far as accentuating the creasing, everything just looks brighter and more awake and more uplifted and just all around better. All right, so I'm going to just quickly do the other eye. Nope, that one. I'm going to do the other eye off camera, finish up the rest of the face, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the rest of the features on the face are back in. I added a little bit of bronzer, blush, and highlight. Now here's where the extra brightening comes into effect. So the under eye still looks smooth. It still looks nice. But the one thing that's really going to kick it up is I go in with my Essence Banana Brighten Up Powder. And I take that on a semi-dense but still fluffy brush. And I like to add a little bit of this just in that under eye area. And I'll feather that over the highlight. And you see how that just like awakened that eye a little bit more? Now, you can layer this up if you really want to go bright, or you could take a concealer that's an extra shade brighter, but I prefer to use a little bit of a lightweight powder to add that brightness, just because I find that it is a little bit more natural looking, because I'm definitely wearing makeup and it looks like I am, but it doesn't look quite as much as it normally does when I go like full glam. And the last thing I do to ensure a beautiful and smooth under eye is I take a little bit of my setting spray. This is the Lancôme Fix It and Forget It. I spray the entire face to set down everything. And then I take my sponge and I will just gently tap with a wet sponge into the under eye, because that's just going to help everything get flattened a little bit more and make everything last a little bit longer all day. So I just wrapped up the rest of the face, and the last thing I'm going to do is, this is where I go in with my lower lash, well, eyeshadow. Today I'm using a little bit of my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and taking that on a semi-fluffy crease brush. I start here, and I pull down slightly, not enough to really do anything, but free the eye. And I like to concentrate this just directly under the eye. If you take this down too low, it's actually going to accentuate whatever issues you have in the under eye. By making sure that you're really just depositing it here, it's framing the eye and it's making that little line under there look a little bit less visible. Again, like I said, nothing besides surgery or filler is really going to make that ever 100% go away. You can de-exaggerate them and you can make them a little less noticeable, by using the right blend of eye creams and eye serums and skincare, but nothing is going to make it 1000% go away. But by taking a tiny bit of that bronzer, I said concealer, by taking a tiny bit of that bronzer and using it to just link the upper lid to the under eye, what that does is it just makes it look like this roundness is natural and that line becomes part of the shape of the eye as opposed to a giant crease underneath. And that is the finished video. I hope you found this informative on everything you need to know about the under eye. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and let me know down below if you have any other specific questions or what other type of specific one-on-one videos you guys want to see, because I've done a lot. I do have a whole playlist that I'll link up here of all of my 101 videos, because I think there's like 30 at this point. I might be exaggerating, but there's definitely a lot. So let me know what you guys want to see, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.